Welcome to the latest and the greatest of the Blue Brothers Sportscast. Thanks for joining us this week. We're going to be talking about the two questions that we presented last week and a little bit more. So, first question: what were your thoughts, and where did you feel Michigan should have been ranked in the polls? I want to thank everybody for your comments and participation. I did want to share what Les said on a YouTube comment mentioning being cautious and really needing to see how they perform in their first couple of games because of some of the key players that they lost. There were some shaky performances last year. Mentioned the Rutgers game and the Nebraska game specifically. But in the end, they were not surprised that Michigan was outside of the top five. I tended to agree a lot with what Les was saying. It's something that I mentioned last time, but I'll expand upon now. Michigan has been playing well since Jim Harbaugh has been there for the most time. I mean, they have had their ups and downs, but there has not been that consistency. And so to feel like Michigan is going to have the exact same season as last year, this year, is maybe a little bit of a stretch. To talk a little bit more about my thoughts on where Michigan should fall, I do tend to agree more with the AP poll. And I think that's actually where I'm going to land with Michigan ranked at number 8. It is a bit far for them to fall out of the top 4, some might think. But honestly, with them lacking the consistency and then also with the struggles in their performance against Georgia at that high level, it's not too surprising to see them at number 8. And I honestly would like to see them ranked lower with the opportunity to move up rather than being ranked high and then falling from there at a later time. Now, I'm not really getting into the teams that are ranked higher than Michigan necessarily because there's a lot of different things that can go into that. I was just more looking at from the aspect of where Michigan themselves were ranked. So this team has a high ceiling. I do believe that they are capable of doing a lot of different things. So being at 8 is not a negative for them. They control their own destiny. We'll have to see how it turns out for the season. And that actually moves perfectly into our second part, which is talking about predictions for Michigan's regular season schedule. So, for the regular season, of course, 12 games, we usually like to talk about predictions and thoughts on how things might turn out. Michigan is still performing very well. They've performed on average very well ever since Harbaugh has been there. They have had their ups and downs, but there are going to be, in my opinion, four key games in this season for Michigan. First of all, looking at the schedule, we see Iowa on the road in October. Michigan, for whatever reason, even with Harbaugh, even with previous coaches, has struggled playing at Iowa. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, but it is still a key game. So that is the first of the four games I'm going to point out. Next two games are home games against Penn State and Michigan State. I mean, say what you want to with how they performed lately. Penn State and Michigan State are both two teams that can cause problems for Michigan. It's great to see that those games are at home. I'm hoping that Michigan will be playing at a high enough level and will have things well that honestly, if it was a home or away game, it wouldn't make a difference. But we'll have to see how those turn out on their schedule and what the results are. And of course, the final of those four games is going to be the last game of the year on the road playing OSU. That one is always what it is. It's the big one, it's the game. So that will be a determining factor. Now, with those four big games on their schedule, I really have a hard time thinking that they're going to make through all four of them without dropping one game. So my prediction for this year, it's actually going to reflect just what they did last year with an 11-1 regular season record. I'm not calling out which game that they might drop, but for them to make it through all that, it would be very impressive. It is definitely within their reach, and this team controls its own destiny. So they can do it, and I believe that they have the staff that can take them there. A huge factor with this team this year is if they can reproduce what they had last year. There was a lot of talk about the Michigan culture that was going on in the locker room and the teamwork that they had and how well they were working together. And they didn't get distracted and they didn't get discouraged. So, if that is something that can carry from last season to this season, then their opportunities are just going to open up before them. And that would make me more optimistic. I've heard good things so far, but we'll have to see how that actually translates onto the field on game day. So those are my thoughts. Michigan ranked at number 8 and finishing with an 11-1 record in their regular season schedule. I do want to mention again, and thank you for all your participation, your comments, and your replies. Whenever you do that, they might get shared in the next episode. What will be happening next is that there will be a short preview episode before the Michigan and Colorado State game. So if you share any thoughts and predictions or even score predictions, that might get brought up in the next episode. Thanks again for hanging out with the Blue Brother Sportscast. We're going to be here every week. And until next time, go Blue.